Hey Butler fans, and welcome to The Bark. I'm Sam Weiderhaft.
And I'm Catalina Gallegos.
We have a great show for you today, including season previews on Butler's baseball and softball teams as they head into the spring seasons.
But first, Butler men's basketball has a lot of work to do if they want to make it to the NCAA tournament. Bark reporter Perry Waggoner has more.
Let's talk about the Butler Bulldogs, who find themselves squarely on the bubble of the NCAA tournament. Some of their key players are Kamar Baldwin, almost averaging 18 points and 5 rebounds, Sean McDermott, 10 points and about 2 threes, and also Jordan Tucker, the Duke transfer, 10 points, 5 rebounds. Along the way, guys like Paul Jorgensen, Aaron Thompson, Henry Bally, Joy Brunk, and Nate Fowler all contribute in games. But recently, the Bulldogs' tournament chances have lowered to just 48% across all tournament projections. And when you look at that non-conference schedule and wins, really only 3 matter anymore: Ole Miss, UC Irvine, and Florida. Would have been really nice to get those wins against Indiana and St. Louis, but it just didn't happen. So they find themselves now at 6-7 in the Big East, and they split a lot of the series against other mid-league teams, and 2 big games against Villanova and Marquette loom on the road. Oh, and they beat DePaul twice, but we'll move on from that. So they need to beat Marquette, they need to beat Providence, and they probably won't beat Villanova because of that guy. They'll beat Providence and probably beat Xavier at home. That puts them at 10-8 in the Big East, which after 2 big wins against Providence and Marquette is a pretty good record and is better than what they did last year. Then it moves on to the Big East tournament. If they can get at least one win against one of those other middling teams, the Bulldogs might find themselves back in the NCAA tournament. For Butler 360 Sports, I'm Perry Waggoner.
All right, thanks, Perry. Okay, women's basketball analyst Chelsea Groves with us. Chelsea, let's talk some women's hoops. So last year, the same Butler team with a lot of the same players went 15-17 on the season. Now they're already 19-6. What do you think has changed between last year and this year?
Experience. They start 3 seniors and 2 juniors. These players have been in this situation before. There's a sharpness about this team this year. They have Whitney Jennings, the floor facilitator at all times, makes the open shot, drives and kicks pretty much every game. Kristen Spoyer also makes the open shot in a big-time moment. Michelle Weaver, extremely defensive-minded. Shea Bride, the role player that scores if she's open, runs the floor really well. Nida Caceres, somebody who steps in, and she can also score the ball as well. And then Tori Schickel, the all-time leading rebounder at Butler. What can you say about her in the back-to-the-basket presence that she provides every game? Coach Godlewski relies on those 6 girls and the rest of the bench to make a presence every game.
Now, despite the drastic improvement, this team is still not a lock to make the NCAA tournament. What do you think they have to do between now and the tournament to make an appearance in that tournament? They haven't made an appearance in a while.
Yeah, 1996 was the last appearance that they had. Nothing drastic they really have to change. I think just them controlling what they can control with the players that they have. Kat Strong has a knee injury against Marquette a few weeks ago. That was a tough loss for them. A lot of offensive presence from her, but they've done what they've done. They've been able to win games without her, so that's something that they need to definitely work on.
Yeah, 3-2 since Kat Strong's injury, actually at the home game, which was a loss against Marquette. Now on Friday, they have an away game at Marquette. They're still number 11 in the nation. What do you think this Bulldog team can do on the road to make a huge statement against that Marquette team?
Yeah, Butler needs to stop penetration. Heidemann and Blockton ran the floor against Butler when they came here, and just protecting the gaps. I think with them being locked in on defense, possession by possession, quarter by quarter, Butler can play with them if they limit possessions and take it one possession at a time. That's the goal.
That'll do it for women's basketball discussion. Catalina, we'll send it back to you.
Butler baseball made their first ever appearance in the Big East tournament last year. They'll be to continue that success this season. Annika Schmidt has the story.
Thanks, Catalina. I got a chance to check in with Butler baseball head coach Dave Schrag and a few of his players to see how they feel about the 2019 season.
We did work on a little bit more of power hitting, which is something that we didn't do in the past. Just driving the ball in the gaps, trying to get 2 doubles for a run instead of 3 singles, or a home run and a double for a run. So we worked on power hitting. That was the first thing. Second thing that we worked on was just overall, I think you win with pitching and defense. So we spent a lot of time working on our infield defense. That was a major part of what we emphasized in the fall.
We just kind of been focused on the fundamentals. Coach always talks about the fundamentals every single day. He's like, you hear about teams, if they win a game, then they're going to win because they did the little things, and they lose because they didn't do the little things. So that's kind of the big focus that we're trying to do right now as we go right into the season. We get to go to some cool places. We open up in South Carolina, go to New Orleans, and then Florida before we start coming back home. Big East season is going to be a big one. It's kind of a toss-up who's going to win it this year, so every weekend's going to matter. So just taking it all in weekend after weekend.
I'm always looking forward to the St. John series. They get the biggest hype. They're always the team to beat. They have the best pitching staff. I mean, I'm sure they'll have 4 or 5 pitchers on their team alone that get drafted. And it's always fun, like, going to the ballpark and knowing, like, oh, we're facing guys who are going to play in the pros soon. And I don't know, those are the games I'm looking forward to. Obviously, the IU game is always important. We lost all 3 games last year on 2 heartbreakers, so kind of want some revenge with that game.
Some of the other goals that we're trying to accomplish is, we finished in 3rd place in the league, so we're trying to move up. We're trying to get, finish 1st or 2nd place in the league. One of the things that we need to do a better job is have a little bit better home record. We were right around 500 last year at home. We played great on the road, so we want to improve that statistic. And I think if we do that, that'll also improve our overall record, because our guys seem to play well right now on the road, and so we got to transfer that and play at home.
Well, obviously we've had back-to-back winning seasons for the first time in 15 years, and we want to build on that. We want to keep getting the 30-win mark, and then we just got to the Big East tournament for the first time last year, and we won 1 game, and this year our goal is just to win it all. I think that should be the standard, is to get into it every year, be the top 4 in conference, and winning it all would set us apart and kind of put us there.
Butler softball looks to bounce back after a disappointing finish to last season. Our Jake Bedell has more on the Bulldogs' upcoming season. Jake?
Butler softball will look to rebound from a disappointing finish in 2018. The Dogs dropped the last 6 games of the season and missed out on their first Big East tournament since 2015. Now entering a new season, the team feels well prepared and confident they will find success. Junior outfielder Alyssa Garcia knows that the right mentality early in the year can have a big impact on the season. She's played an important role in the field ever since she was a freshman.
I think a big thing that helps with working on all of that is an attitude, and we talk about it with our team all the time. You need to keep a positive attitude and a good attitude, because if not, everything is just going to go downhill and roll downhill.
The coaching staff and seniors of the team know what it takes to have a winning season. Head coach Scott Hall is entering his 9th year at Butler. He's seen the program's many faces, the move from the Horizon League to the Big East, and led the team to the 2016 Conference Championship. Hall discussed what team focus will be throughout non-conference play.
We like to say we play game to game, but we're still trying to use those games to prepare for conference. So experimenting a little bit here and there with different lineups, different batting orders, things like that. We have a lot of depth this year, so trying to figure out as a coaching staff and as a team what role each player is going to have.
The Dogs' non-conference schedule will run all the way until the end of March, where they will play 5 invitationals, including 1 in Kentucky and 2 in Florida. Hopefully by then the weather warms up here in Indianapolis, because for now, outdoors really isn't an option. For the time being, the Bulldogs will practice indoors. Coach Hall points out that the team will take advantage of invitationals so the Bulldogs can have actual on-field experience. The entire roster and coaching staff hope that as the weather gets warmer, the talent on this year's Butler squad will heat up as well. For The Bark, I'm Jake Bedell.
That will wrap up this week's edition of The Bark. We hope you enjoyed the show.
And make sure to come back next week for the next edition of The Bark, and click around Butler360sports.com for all access Butler content. I'm Sam Weiderhaft.
And I'm Catalina Gallegos.
Go Dogs.